Hey guys, and welcome back to the Weyside Podcast. This is episode 4, and we're stepping the game up, so I hope you like the intro as well. If you don't let us know, because we're going to keep it.
Yeah, I don't think we need our feelings hurt.
No, exactly. We're already sensitive enough, so...
Yeah. But, I mean, as of time of recording this, the intro doesn't exist. So we're assuming it is of the highest quality.
Yeah, we're kind of locking ourselves into having to make this intro now.
Yeah.
But we're sure it's going to be great.
Yeah, pretty much, because we're just going to record everything at 180 FPS and probably as macro as possible.
Maybe we'll react to the intro in the next podcast. That's what we'll do.
We watch back our own intro and react to it.
Exactly. Reaction videos.
Yeah. I'm really sorry about the squeaking.
It's alright.
It's just difficult to sit still.
Rob insists on always having the comfy chair, so...
Betting seat, I don't lean back in it. I'm not even in shot anymore. Hence why. But yeah, so this video happens to be... Oh, I'm changing chair. Mid-podcast, I'm sorry. But
alright, well, I'll continue the podcast while Rob's gone. As long as he doesn't make too much noise. He's making so much noise. So yeah, last episode we started talking about how crisp it was going to be, and then it ended up not being particularly crisp. Welcome back to the Weyside Podcast, Rob.
Thank you, it's great to be here.
This is my guest, Rob Harvey.
It was a little bit frustrating. Actually. I mean, it looks really nice on mobile, because you sent me the link and I looked at it on mobile. I was like, that looks really nice. It looks really good. And I opened up big screen and I was like, it's almost the same.
Yeah, so basically we filmed it in 4K, and the plan was to do the whole thing in 4K, but then we didn't kind of factor in how long it takes to export a 37-minute video from Final Cut and upload it to YouTube in 4K. I must have left it there for a good 2 or 3 hours going, and it was on like 30%.
It's ridiculous, and it's a little bit frustrating, and it's a flaw in Final Cut, the fact that it doesn't give you an estimated duration.
Yeah,
how long it's going to take.
You just get a little sharing bar.
Yeah,
that's all you can.
I mean, you can click on it and then you can see it as a longer bar, but that's still not helpful.
Yeah, so it looks slightly better.
Yes,
it's a nicer camera.
But at the end of the day, what's the point in recording in 4K if it's going to take that long? And apart from anything else, that was that you sharing it or attempting to share it with the 2 hours at 4K, or was that when you had already compressed it down to 1080p? Was that you compressing it down to 1080p?
It was both. I tried to export it as just a 4K video, and it was just taking so long. So then I was like, okay, fine, I'll just export it at 1080p, and it took so long also to like compress it down, because obviously I had to deal with all the video. We need a
slave Mac. Just a Mac. Yeah, good thing I said Mac on the end of that, didn't it? We just need something that we can just set aside and just have running for 12 hours straight. Yeah. Export it. But, actually no, I guess technically you could do the project on the main Mac and copy the project over.
Yeah.
To do the export. I guess, I mean, it's a thought.
Still, it's just big files, just lots of stuff for it to deal with. And it just becomes, like, you have to leave it on, like, overnight to do that kind of thing. It gets silly. So
it's ridiculous, especially for rendering a podcast.
Yeah, exactly. So you five, you're getting 1080p back. I'm sorry.
You five. Oh, is that what the view numbers are?
I haven't actually checked.
That was just a rough low ball figure. Yeah. So yeah, we've gone back to 1080p recording.
I think did we go with 50?
We have.
We've gone with 50.
So we've swapped. Were we in 50 last time?
No.
Okay.
Well, I don't think we were. I exported as 25. So
yeah.
Even if we were.
In which case, this one's 50.
Yes.
1080p. Hopefully, it's not too long to export.
Yes.
It's still going to be longer than previous stuff that we did on the Canon because the bitrate's higher.
Yeah,
and you've got double the amount of frames. But
be beautifully less than the last episode, which was an absolute nightmare.
Yes, no, that's completely fair enough.
Yeah. So that's the explanation of why the crispiness wasn't quite there when we said it would be.
One day.
That won't be the same this time as with the intro thing. There's going to be a mind-blowing intro.
Oh, you're really setting yourself up.
I really am.
And what's worse is I'm doing the music for it.
So
how? I don't know.
The music is going to complement the podcast perfectly. And it's gonna be, you know, one of those times where you hear a piece of music or a song and it's like, wow, this is the sound of our generation.
Okay.
It's gonna be one of those situations.
I think now it's setting itself up to the point where I can no longer achieve what you're suggesting, so I'm gonna reverse it and go the full comedic route.
Okay.
And take that screaming pug I sent to you earlier, and it'll just be that.
If nobody's seen the video of the screaming pug,
we'll put a link in the description.
Yeah, we will.
It's a stunning video.
I'm not really sure why he sent it to me, but he did. And
did you enjoy it?
I think enjoy is the wrong word. I would say.
What should be the right word?
I saw it.
You saw it.
I
was
viewed
noted.
It. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was logged in the journal of videos viewed by the certain Zach Johnson.
Yes. So, yeah, we'll let you guys see the screaming pug if you haven't already seen it.
Yeah. But I guess before we get into our topics, yesterday we had a cheeky barbecue, didn't we?
Oh, we did.
We did have a cheeky barbecue. And the reason why I'm bringing it up is, I mean, we know that 180 FPS tends to look quite nice. But you get that with flames. And
it's the first super slow-mo flames we've filmed.
Yeah.
And it was magic.
And it's really interesting because when you have 180 FPS on your camera, everything you film is 12.5%. We've said that before, and we've tried to work out how many times. It's just 20 or so. No, it's not. It's not that high.
Just don't go into it. Don't go into it.
No, it's 8. I know it's 8. It's 8. I was going into it again. But of course, if you're holding it still, you press the record button, and you don't move for the first, let's say, 3 seconds. 8 times 3, you've got 24 seconds of waiting.
It becomes a bit silly. Like when you're trying to look back to see if it's any good or if you need to change angle or whatever. You're sat there for a good 30 seconds before anything even slightly moves.
It's crazy. So, and that translates to movement as well. So you press record and you want to go. You want to get the shot straight away, so you don't have to deal with the amount of time at the start. I mean, it's kind of a lazy way of doing it, but you just don't want to be watching it all the time. But then the movement that you do, because it's such a high FPS, it doesn't matter if you're shaky or anything like that. We went round the barbecue and it's literally semicircle, like whoop, done. Whoop.
The camera even comes with sound effects. So if you're looking for a good comedy camera, we can let you know which one.
That one broke.
But yeah, so and it looks absolutely beautiful. We don't really have an application for it at the moment because it's quite clearly a barbecue. So
I mean, shall we say it's gonna go on Instagram?
Yeah. Well, we can put it on Instagram.
Yeah,
just hit the pop filter.
You did.
Well, yeah, we'll put a short little clip of it on Instagram and then.
Yeah, I think it's worth just having on there.
Yeah, I think it's very cool.
Yeah, I think the Instagram should be maybe a little less serious than it is at the moment.
Okay.
Just like
put the sound effect in then.
Whoop.
That's a slow motion version.
Oh, I see.
Because we're in slow.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So what he didn't say is that we had this barbecue at 10:30. I don't think food went on until at least 11:15.
I definitely lit it at about 10:10.
So
PM.
We had our video lights out to
light up the barbecue because we couldn't actually see it, even with the flames.
But yeah, the flame they would not have looked as good if it was in the day. So maybe it was meant to be.
It was definitely
to get some nice Instagram content.
Yeah. So the reason why we're having a barbecue last night so late is we came back from a video shoot.
So we left the video shoot at about 4, but Rob is such a slow driver.
Well, it's not my fault. The video shoot was 6 hours away.
No, yeah, I can't remember what the place is. It's near
Leith Hill.
Leith Hill, that was what it's called. which is amazing. It's a really lovely place. I've wanted to go to Leith Tower before. Because I think is it the highest point in Surrey?
It's all but. It's definitely Surrey, and it might be the second tallest place in the south of England. So it's also got that going for it.
What is the tallest place?
I don't know. Oh. Everest. you just got nice. You just got Everest just behind London somewhere.
Just down in Kent.
Yeah.
Just moved Mount Everest.
Yeah. I just realised if you took the height of Everest.
Yeah.
And let's just say Everest was a fair bit narrower, didn't have the mountain ranges going around it.
Okay.
So you've got quite a bit more.
So you've just got like a thin mountainous tower, right?
Yeah. Well, okay. Let's say Everest is the size of Guildford in terms of its width, but but its height is still the same.
All right.
How far away in the UK would it need to be from Guildford for you to not see the top of it? Like, how far around the curvature of the Earth would it have to be? Because
wait, what do you mean curvature of the Earth?
Oh, God.
No, I'm kidding. I'm not a flat earther. It's all good. Carry on.
No.
I mean,
he believes the Earth is a donut, which is crazy to me.
There's still curvature though.
Oh no, exactly. There's
just also icing on the other side.
Yeah. Well, that's for snow, isn't it? At both ends.
Yeah, and then when the seasons change, the snow is in different places on the Earth. So that explains the donut Earth theory.
The donut Earth, yeah. But yeah. So you got the globe, a little pin being Guildford. How far around does Everest have to be? Because it's in a mountain range at the moment, so you can't tell.
You would never be able to tell because, because
England is so flat.
There's times when you can't see things because of just because they're too far away anyway.
Yeah,
rather than it just being.
Well, it's true. But for example, when you're on the Hog's Back,
you can
relevant. You can see the shard.
Sometimes you can see the shard, which.
Well, okay. Let's imagine optimal conditions then.
Okay.
You can see the shard, which is 40 miles away from that.
Yeah. I guess it probably.
And the shard's, I think, a little bit smaller than Everest.
So how far is that? What's that? 50 miles, something like that.
Yeah, let's just go for that. So it's a nice easy number.
I mean, you can't see any of the mountains up north,
No, so not in Scotland.
It's gonna be.
But how tall are the mountains in Scotland compared to Everest?
Ben Nevis is pretty big.
Google it.
How tall is Ben Nevis?
How tall is Ben Nevis?
Okay.
This is production related. I don't know how. I'm going to twist it.
It will be all explained by Rob in a few minutes how this is all relevant and how it ties in perfectly.
Well, exactly. So when you have a drone and you're flying in a particular mountainous area, you might think that the 120 meters is related to you. So you take it off from the ground, and that 120 meters height limit extends from where you took it off from.
Right.
But it's related to exactly where the drone is compared to the ground.
Okay.
So arguably, if you flew it at 120 meters, you're on the edge of a cliff that happens to be 120 meters high, and it's on the ground by you on the top of this cliff. You take it off, you can go 120 meters high, but you fly it so that it's over the cliff, so that it's hovering over the point and gets down to the sea. You're illegal. Yeah, you got to drop. You got to drop down to the exact level of the cliff.
As soon as that happens, there's just swap.
Cut power.
There's just swap.
Yeah.
Ben Nevis is 1,345 meters high.
Okay, thank you. Now Everest.
Okay.
1,345. 1,345.
A little bit higher.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
1,435.
8,848 meters high.
Ooh.
So
it's only 8 kilometers high.
Yeah, they're pretty much the same height. So.
Yeah.
And there's stuff in the Lake District, the Scafell Pike, which is 970 meters high.
Okay. How about this? How tall is the shard?
So it's 306 meters high, but it's 310 meters to the tip.
I see. Let's go to the tip. So
8,848 meters is Everest.
Divided by
300. Am I really doing
You
this?
are doing this. Oh, squeak. I mean, I think you have to by this point. You have the Mac.
28.5.
Okay, 28 times 50.
1,400.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's 1,400 miles. Does that make sense?
No, it's one.
If the Shard is
Yeah.
at that height and you're on the Hog's Back and it's 50 miles away, then if Everest is going to match the height of the Shard, it would need to be 1,350 miles away. Is that correct?
I don't know.
It seems like a large number, but I feel like my math is correct.
I'm
Ignoring the fact that you wouldn't be able to see through the atmosphere past that point. If it was like completely clear.
I don't know. I'm not really sure where you're getting the information from. That's not really factoring in the curvature of the Earth. That's just saying.
Okay, sorry. For that instance, the Earth is flat.
Oh, I see.
I forgot about the curvature of the Earth.
Okay. Right. Okay.
I mean, the horizon isn't the horizon only 30 or 40 meters away anyway? Meters. Just I can't see.
Just down the garden.
I can't see the end of the road. It's a very small globe, isn't it?
I think I understand what you're saying now.
Yeah.
The Earth is flat.
Yeah.
It's not a donut like I thought.
No.
And there is no.
Never has
there's
been,
no
and never will be.
Jammy filling in the middle. Which that lava, which we all know is jam.
Sugary jam.
Hot sugary jam. It's just
Is it hot?
No one's ever tasted it.
You
Because
sure
they
it's
just
hot?
die instantly if it touches them.
Yeah. And the sun's made out of honey.
All right. Well, I think we got very off topic there.
we did, but I'm going to Google it myself later. I'm curious to work it out.
Yeah, and you can let us know on the next episode.
I can do indeed. I will do.
And everyone's going to be very disappointed if you don't, because this has been very intriguing.
Yes, hopefully.
You should work it out with the curvature of the Earth as well.
No, I was planning on that.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm going to ignore atmosphere, being able to see through the atmosphere.
I don't think you can do that.
I'm going to have to. Because, I mean, thing is, it could be a very easy answer then. I could look up the average distance that you can see through the atmosphere to see something and just say, right, that's the limit. That's as far away as you would see Everest, because surely it's going to be further.
Or you could just Google not the average, the furthest. Because then on the best day.
On the best day ever, on the clearest day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anywho.
Yeah, so we talked about yesterday's shoot, didn't we?
Briefly. We mentioned Leith Hill and said it's the tallest place, and then we got to Everest.
We filmed at Leith Hill, and it was lovely. And we were filming
stunning,
kind of sunset-ish for a lot of it, which is always good.
Mm-hmm.
The golden hour.
It was really good light, and it was a little bit of a race against time towards the end.
Yeah, because you don't want the light to change too much through the video, so you need to to start in the golden hour and finish in the golden hour,
which is normally just a single hour.
This time I think it was more like 2.
It did feel like that. Our biggest issue actually wasn't so much the sun going below the horizon, it was the sun going below the next hill, because the next hill was very close to us with tall trees.
Yeah. We were in kind of some sort of
basin. Yeah.
Yes, of with nice big trees around us. So
yeah,
it was a very cool backdrop for a video.
It was.
So we had some lovely drones.
And I almost killed you.
And you almost killed me. The man with the drone license.
Yeah.
Flew the drone pretty much straight into me.
Worth putting on Instagram?
No.
You sure?
It's just gonna make us look even worse. I mean, if you've made it this far in the podcast, you deserve to know how Rob nearly killed me. But I don't think we should advertise that.
Okay.
You're not really gonna get many people wanting you to film them with a drone if you're gonna kill them with it.
You do make a very valid point, so I do need to remember that.
It's a nice little Easter egg for anyone who's made it this far.
So I flew the drone out probably 100 meters away, and of course, let's just say we're on a platform in the middle of this basin, yeah. And so we're here, sort of facing out that way, or at least I am. I've flown the drone out of the ground drops and all this sort of stuff, and I was like getting some nice footage. And I thought, right, I'm gonna fly it back at speed. I didn't even go into sport mode.
Did you not go into sport mode?
No, I did not go into sport.
What's the max speed out of sport mode? I know it's 40 miles an hour in sport mode, right?
Yes, max speed. I think it might be 16?
25 rings a bell, but maybe.
No, I think it's just 16 miles per hour.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so slow.
So you try running 16 miles per hour.
More than double though in sport mode. That seems a lot.
It does. That's why it's sport mode. But I was flying it back, and I'm looking at the viewfinder, my phone, in the controller, and I thought, oh, this looks quite a cool shot. I was sort of sweeping round, coming directly towards us, and sort of sweeping around, and the drone has got quite a wide angle lens, and at no point did I use line of sight, as I should be, to check where the drone was, because suddenly Zach was ducking in panic as it flew directly at him. Not only that, it was flying sideways, so there was no sensors
on the side, yeah.
Exactly, no sensors to make it stop. I was attempting to stop it, but before it got there, I was attempting to brake, but it had got too much speed as it was coming down, and of course, it's in the air. It can't just stop the tires and just skid. And not only that, but we had a tripod set up doing a time lapse, and the drone actually managed to hit and skim the top of the camera on the tripod
and cause no damage somehow.
Caused no damage to both of them. The drone was still flying, and it just stopped in the air.
No damage to me as well.
No, well,
apart from emotional, I feel very lucky to be here today.
A lot of apologising went on from that, and it was a lesson learned.
And he's banned from droning for a bit by me.
Oh, I see.
Yes,
I see. How do you get that authority?
As the CEO of Weyside Productions.
Oh.
You're just like the treasurer or something.
Oh, I see. I deal with the finances.
Exactly.
Hence why the finances are so minimal, because I keep spending them.
You keep spending them on drone lessons that clearly don't work.
Apparently so. Never had a drone lesson.
Okay, fine.
So
drone qualifications then.
Yes.
Sorry.
But there was one thing that you definitely need to think about when you're flying a drone and trying to get good footage, especially when it's bright sunlight, is it's whitewashed. Everything is so overexposed that you have to increase the shutter speed to, well, I think I got to 640, maybe even 800. And it's getting silly because, of course, that's no longer as pleasing to the eye. Really, it's oddly too clear in terms of motion blur. That's why people don't do higher shutter speeds.
Yeah.
You want a lower one just so you get a nice motion blur to it all. So I went and got some ND filters.
Well,
which should be good. And if you have a Mavic Air, it's really difficult to get off the main cap. Because, of course, you have a cap before you can screw on the ND filter.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so I was trying that earlier. I turned it upside down. I'm gripping the gimbal, which is tiny as it is, and I don't want to break the gimbal that's like really delicate. And with this hand, I'm twisting almost as hard as I can. And nothing's going on. And, of course, I don't want to cause any damage. And thankfully, I saw a forum post where you get a little bit of electrical tape, wrap it around the top of the lens, and use that as sort of leverage. Just came off instantly.
Oh.
It was like suddenly no force needed. I don't get it.
Huh.
It was really weird. It just released.
Are you sure you were doing the right thing? Are you sure you weren't just pulling one of the legs off or something?
It is legless now. But yeah, ND filters got those now, so should be better for the future. And of course, what an ND filter does is it darkens everything the camera sees so that you can lower the shutter speed back to where you want it, which should be groovy. Extremely groovy.
But yeah, we got some nice stuff yesterday on the shoot, and hopefully we'll be getting that video done in the next couple of weeks. So we can post a
towards
link
the end
to
of
it
this month
at some point in one of the podcast
definitely
descriptions. Yeah. What else did you want to talk about? We got.
Well, I was also going to say 180 FPS used to full effect.
To full effect, yes, for sure.
With the pretty much macro, what is it? Focus length, focal length. So basically what I did was with the stabilizer, I obviously set the camera to 180 FPS, got the stabilizer down if this is the ground, I got the stabilizer as close as possible, pressed record and basically legged it through the grass. As low as I could, straight through.
Straight into a nice thorny branch into your leg.
It was a big thorny branch as well, but I didn't stop for the next half metre, so I'm just dragging it. Pardon me. I do apologise.
Your manners are just
Thank you.
Spot on.
Thank you.
I mean, if they were a bit better, maybe you wouldn't have done that in the first place, but... Or you would have left the room first.
I just walk out and you just hear this massive belch. I walk back to town. It's all good.
But yeah, I also managed to... I was trying to circle round to get some footage while we were walking, and then get a nice little lens flare in towards the end. So I was having to walk to keep up with her going that way.
With the talent,
yes. Going that way. And also circle round. So I was having to go almost twice as fast as she was.
Yes.
And
it looked like you were trying to get to a sprint, not looking at where your feet were going, only looking at the camera.
I was trying to make sure it was keeping her nice and central.
Yeah.
And also...
And I just kept saying
nice
to you, careful, because the next thing that was coming up was a bush, a log, a hole.
It's actually... Of all the things anyone could have done in that situation, saying careful over and over, I would argue is the most helpful thing.
I feel like this is sarcasm. I feel like this is heavy sarcasm.
No. Someone just saying careful at you over and over and over is is really helpful.
Is it? Well, what you should have done is stopped once I said careful. That's me telling you to stop. Okay, maybe I should have said stop.
I wouldn't have stopped though, probably.
No, you probably wouldn't. You don't
actually,
listen to me.
I would, because if you'd said stop, I would have assumed there was a giant hole in the ground or something.
Could have been. Hence why I said careful.
Careful.
There's a massive chasm there.
It's like that prison in The Dark Knight Rises. You know, the one that Bane lived in for God knows how long. Yeah.
Does he know?
Huh?
Does God know how long?
Yes.
Ask him now. Google him.
All right.
How long was Bane in hole for? God.
Okay. That
was kind of a weird scene. Wasn't his back broken or something when he was in there? Like to start with. And then that guy helped him repair his back. Yeah. And he attempted
No, that was Batman.
Oh wait, what am I talking about? Oh yes, yeah. So, but Batman ends up in the same hole.
Yeah, and then he got out.
Spoiler.
10 years. Bane was in there for 10 years.
Oh, Bane. I was going to say Batman.
No, but he would have come out old and decrepit. Like, do they even have food in there? I don't know. They must. Oh, how can you stay in there for 10 years without food? Who gives them food? They just drop it down from the top. Just throw like a roast chicken down.
you think that they're being kind enough to just...
And Yorkshire puddings, of course.
Right.
Well, I mean, like, even in
bit
that
of gravy.
Kind of prison...
just pouring it straight down.
So everyone holds their cups up and they're just like
boiling.
They get like a watering can with gravy in it.
Oh. I mean, I'm sure it's perfectly. Actually, no. Would it be? I'm sure the plastic in a watering can is not going to be good enough to serve gravy in.
Why? What?
Well, because a watering can's just cheap.
I don't know what kind of watering cans you have, but. You can get metal watering cans.
It's true. I did forget about them up until just that moment. Yeah, that's true.
So that's how. That's how they
but could you imagine a watering can full of gravy?
Yes. I've just spent the last minute imagining
I see.
it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
How did we get onto that? Oh yeah, you walking carefully.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
A slight tangent, but yeah, I think probably gonna have to. We've gone on a fair few tangents, so we're going to have to wrap that one up.
Really?
Yeah.
That is a serious tangent to get to that point.
I think the main one was the donut Earth kind of stuff, so...
What?
If anyone has any contrasting theories, we'd love to hear it. I mean, we're pretty sure it's a donut filled with hot, spicy jam. But, like, I don't know.
But every other Sunday, flat.
Yeah. Well, obvious. Do you even have to say that?
Well, I thought I had to because it's within the perimeters of me checking Everest and how far away it is.
Fair enough. Yeah. So obviously, if it was a donut every other Sunday, it would be flat.
And no atmosphere.
Yeah.
On that Sunday.
Vacuum.
Yeah.
That's why everyone stays in on a Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever see anyone out on the streets on a Sunday, they're playing a dangerous game.
They are.
Dangerous.
They're atmosphere. A rare breed. The people who do that, and they become rarer by the day.
Some strange kind of evolution, if evolution was real. All right, we're going too far into the conspiracy theory stuff, but it is a donut. Evolution is real.
I would just like to say, if we're on the conspiracy theories.
Oh no.
No, actually no. There's a limit. There's a limit. I'd stop myself.
Let's call it. Yeah. Let's call it. Thank you very much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe to the YouTube channel and let us know what you think in the comments
of the intro,
and also if you have any other theories on flat Earth,
themes to talk about in the video.
Yeah, anything you want to hear about in the next podcast.
Because chances are we'll probably write it down and then we won't get to it because we're in a tangent.
Yeah, we missed a couple of talking points that we'll have to use for next week.
There you go. Exactly.
Yeah,
just backing up the info for next time.
But yeah, cheers for watching, guys, and we will see you next time.
See you then.